The Monkees, the explosive 1960s television series with its upbeat tunes and zany humor, made four young men pop culture icons. But behind the bright smiles on screen were dark secrets. Some died unexpectedly, others succumbed to drug addiction. Let's explore the truth and honor the legacy they left behind. Let's get started. Davy Jones as Davy David Thomas Jones was born on December 30th, 1945 in Longside, England, and had an artistic spirit from a very young age. At just 20 years old, he became the romantic heart of the Monkees on television from 1966 to 1968, winning over audiences with his handsome looks, mischievous charm, and warm voice in hits like Daydream Believer and I Wanna Be Free. David Jones was not only the face of the band, but also the soul of all 58 episodes, leaving a deep impression on the hearts of millions of teenage girls who loved this British idol. He died on February 29, 2012, at the age of 66, after suffering a sudden heart attack at his beloved horse farm in Florida, where he spent time training and caring for the horses he loved like family. Jones's body was cremated, and his ashes were divided into several parts, one placed next to his parents' graves in England and another sent to a church in Pennsylvania that he had purchased to restore as a memorial to his musical legacy. Jones's net worth in 2012 was estimated at $5 million, largely from music royalties, television appearances, and some real estate investments, although he occasionally struggled with divorce and property disputes. David Jones's married life was tumultuous and tragic. He was married 3 times, first to Linda Haynes from 1968 to 1975, then to Anita Pollinger from 1981 to 1996, and finally to Jessica Pacheco from 2009 until his death. These relationships produced 4 daughters for Jones, but also brought great suffering, especially to his final wife, with whom he and she repeatedly accused each other of emotional abuse in court. The pressures of fame, a demanding performing schedule, and the failed marriages led Jones to turn to alcohol and drugs in the late 1960s, something he admitted in his 1987 memoir, They Turned Me Into a Monkey. As a result, his cardiovascular health rapidly declined, leading to the tragic heart attack that took his life at the age of 66. Robert Michael Nesmith was born on December 30, 1942 in Houston, Texas, and was an ambitious artist from an early age. At the age of 23, he became an integral part of the Monkees from 1966 to 1968, earning the nickname Berry Hat for his signature wool hat and irresistibly rugged style. Nesmith was not only the group's lead guitarist, but also its creative soul, contributing to hits like Mary, Mary and The Girl I Knew Somewhere, and leading his bandmates in a battle for control of their music in a showbiz environment rife with restrictions. He died on December 10, 2021 at the age of 78, after suffering a heart attack at his home in Carmel Valley, California. His ashes were kept private by his family, in keeping with his final wishes for a private memorial service. Nesmith's net worth in 2021 is estimated at $50 million, which includes a large inheritance from his mother, Bette Nesmith Graham, the inventor of liquid paper, along with earnings from music, production work, and investments throughout his career. Despite his wealth, he fought a long-running lawsuit against PBS in the 1990s over video distribution rights, a case that ended in his favor with a $48 million settlement, but also left him emotionally and financially exhausted. Michael Nesmith's personal life was also fraught with turmoil. He was married 3 times to Phyllis Ann Barber, 1964 to 1972, Catherine Bild, 1976, and Victoria Kennedy, 2000-2011, leaving behind 4 children from each relationship. These marital breakdowns, especially to his first wife, left Nesmith unable to fully repair his family ties for many years. In addition, the pain of losing his mother in 1980 when Bette died struck a blow to the heart of a son who was proud of her legacy. Nesmith has admitted to battling depression. particularly after the commercial failure of his band First National Band. Despite critical acclaim, he bravely returned to the stage, performing with Mickey DeLenz on his final tour in 2021, before his aging heart could no longer cope after quadruple bypass surgery in 2018. Michael Nesmith's passing closes the final chapter in the journey of a pioneering musician who bridged pop and country rock, leaving behind an artistic legacy that will be hard to replace. Peter Tork, as Peter Halston Thorkelson, was born on February 13, 1942, in Washington, D.C., a free-spirited hippie of the 1960s. At the age of 24, he took on the lovable goofball image of the Monkees in 1966 and 1968, becoming the group's bassist and keyboardist, bringing a unique sense of humor and bohemian style to the band. Peter Tork quickly became a teen idol with his upbeat personality, likability, and down-to-earth folk music style. Reminiscent of the Greenwich Village scene, he died on February 21, 2019, at the age of 77, at his home in Willimantic, Connecticut, after a long battle with a rare form of salivary gland cancer. His ashes were kept private by his family, with no public funeral to avoid public attention. Tork's net worth at the time of his death was estimated at $4 million, which came from his music career, acting career, and years of touring with Shoe Suede Blues, among other small projects. Despite struggling with debt and medical expenses at times, Tork retained a portion of the royalties from songs he contributed, such as For Pete's Sake, the hit song that closed out the second season of the hit series. Peter Tork's personal life was no less bitter. 4 failed marriages and 3 children by 3 different women left emotional rifts that were difficult to mend. After the Monkees broke up, Tork fell into poverty, even being arrested in 1972 for drug possession and spending several months in jail, a painful fall that buried his reputation as a teen idol. He admitted in interviews that he turned to alcohol and drugs to cope with the pressures of fame, driving himself into a spiral of addiction throughout the 1970s. When he was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer in 1999, Tork underwent multiple surgeries and radiation treatments, determined to continue performing on stage until the last year of his life. But the disease returned, extinguishing any hope of recovery. Peter Tork's death closed a chapter in a life both tragic and glorious, in which a talented artist brought joy, laughter, and even pain to a generation. Henry Corden as Babbitt. Henry Corden, born Henry Cohen, was born on January 6, 1920 in Montreal, Canada, before becoming a veteran star of the American entertainment industry. At age 46, he joined the Monkees as Babbitt, a grumpy landlord with a constant frown, but a great deal of comic charisma. He appeared in 7 episodes and provided a humorous contrast to the reckless young band. With his natural acting and powerful singing voice, Henry made Babbitt memorable for his classic debates and cemented his status as a veteran of the golden age of American television. Henry Corden died on May 19, 2005, at the age of 85, after a long battle with emphysema at Sherman Oaks Hospital in California. He is buried at the San Fernando Mission Cemetery, the final resting place of many Hollywood luminaries. His fortune was estimated at $2 million in 2005, amassed over more than half a century of dedication to the stage and recording studio. However, behind the voice that shaped the childhoods of so many, Henry Corden's life was filled with personal pain. He endured 4 tumultuous marriages, 2 of which ended in bitter custody battles. His final wife, Angelina, was by his side until his final moments. But the scars from his marriages to Thelma and Shirley Citron would haunt him for the rest of his life. Many believe that Henry's emphysema was related to his longtime smoking habit, but he never publicly acknowledged this. Despite painful losses such as the death of his longtime friend Alan Reed, Henry continued to give his all until the last years of his life. His career, from Babbitt in the Monkees to the familiar roar of Fred Flintstone, was an extraordinary journey that few knew contained so much loneliness and bitterness. Rosemarie as Millie. Rosemarie Mazzeta was born on August 15, 1923 in New York, and entered the entertainment world as a child under the stage name Baby Rosemarie, soon becoming a singing prodigy in the post-silent film era. In 1966, at the age of 43, she appeared in the Monkees as Millie, a gentle, loving mother who brought warmth and charm to 2 episodes, providing the perfect balance to the mischievous chaos of the young band. Rosemarie retained the wit and quick wit that made her famous on The Dick Van Dyke Show, making her portrayal of Millie a lasting impression on television audiences. She passed away on December 28, 2017 at her home in Van Nuys, Los Angeles, at the age of 94 after falling asleep peacefully next to her longtime caregiver and agent. The cause is believed to be old age, ending a journey of nearly 9 decades of tireless dedication. Rosemarie's ashes are kept privately by her family in memory of a legend. It is estimated that she left behind about $8 million accumulated from her years as a child singer, her iconic role as Sally Rogers on The Dick Van Dyke Show, and countless other popular television shows. But Rosemarie's life was not all praise and applause. In 1964, she lost her beloved husband of 18 years, Bobby Guy, a heartbreaking loss. Loneliness followed her for decades until she found a loving friendship with Vince Miranda in the early 1970s. In her 2002 autobiography, Hold the Roses, Rosemarie unabashedly revealed the immense pressures of working non-stop since her childhood fame, and the emptiness that followed after the spotlight faded. In her final years, she bravely shared with the public about her battle with cancer, always maintaining the humor and strong personality that earned her the nickname patron saint of female comedy writers. When Rosemarie passed away, the world lost not only a sweet voice and a famous comedian, but also a beautiful piece of American television history in its golden age. Vic Tabak as Chuck. Victor Tabak was born on January 6, 1930 in Brooklyn, New York, to Syrian immigrant parents, and emerged on the American stage as a tough, talented, and confident actor. In 1967, at the age of 37, he appeared in The Monkees as Chuck, a clumsy but humorous gangster, delivering satirical confrontations that made the audience laugh and left an indelible mark on a colorful episode. His husky, powerful voice and strong but warm appearance helped Tabak shape a unique style, even in brief supporting roles. However, on May 25, 1990, Vic Tabak suddenly collapsed at home and was rushed to Glendale Adventist Hospital, where he breathed his last breath after a heart attack at the age of 60. He was buried at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills, along with many other Hollywood legends. Tabak's net worth at the time of his death was estimated at $2 million, amassed over decades of hard work in film, theater, and regular appearances in popular television series. However, behind the spotlight, Vic Tabak also faced his fair share of tragedy. He married Sheila Barnard in 1963 and had a son, Christopher, but was plagued by heart problems throughout his life, having undergone coronary bypass surgery in 1983. Although he did not speak publicly about it, close friends said he was a heavy smoker, which may have contributed to his heart problems. The pressures of his work, coupled with being cast in crude villain roles, led to Tabak struggling to find artistic freedom, especially in his later years as his fame began to fade. He suddenly passed away just as he was planning to return to the screen, leaving behind an inconceivable loss for fans and colleagues, because Vic Tabak was not only the famous Mel Sharples but also a heart burning with passion for the stage until his last breath. Milton Fromm as Latham Milton Fromm, full name Milton Fromm, was born on February 24, 1909 in Philadelphia, and had the classic charm of Hollywood's golden age. He was 58 when he joined the Monkees in 1967, playing Latham, a stern but humorous character who created countless awkward situations for the band. Latham perfectly captured the old-fashioned management style that audiences often saw in sitcoms of the time, helping Fromm make a lasting impression in just one episode. He died on March 21, 1989, at the age of 80, after years of battling congestive heart failure, a disease that slowly eroded the health of the aging artist. Milton Fromm was buried at Forest Lawn, Hollywood Hills Cemetery, resting alongside countless legendary names closing a long artistic journey with an estimated fortune of $1 million, a worthy reward for 4 decades of tireless dedication. Few people know that behind the glamorous appearance and stern face on screen, Milton Fromm was a devoted husband to Doris Fromm and father of 2 children. Later, he faced many pressures when his fame faded, along with the burden of heart disease that eroded his spirit. From Batman to Bewitched and countless Jerry Lewis films, Milton has always tried to maintain the image of a professional actor, but once admitted in an interview, "This world is harsh and sometimes you just have to laugh it off." Behind that smile is the heart of an artist who has devoted himself to the American screen for nearly half a century. Burt Mustin as Butler Burton Hill. Burt Mustin was born on February 8, 1884 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and was 82 years old when he appeared in The Monkees in 1966. In this popular series, he played a stern, older butler, bringing a maturity and old-fashioned charm that contrasted with the youthful energy of the band, leaving a lasting impression on audiences. He died on January 28, 1977, at the age of 92 at Glendale Memorial Hospital in California after failing health due to old age. Over 2 decades of perseverance, despite only starting his artistic career in his 60s, he has still accumulated about $1 million from hundreds of small but memorable roles, a testament to the extraordinary perseverance rarely seen in the history of cinema. Burt Mustin's life is like an emotional movie. He graduated with an engineering degree, sold cars, and worked at the Chamber of Commerce before finding his way to the stage. His 54-year marriage to Frances Robina Woods was his greatest source of emotional support. But when she died in 1969, Mustin sank into a lonely despair that few could understand. Overcoming all the pain, Burt Mustin still stood firm on the set with laughter and gentle eyes, then closed his life as a monument to the actors who specialized in playing villains, quiet but irreplaceable. Rip Taylor as Glick. Charles Elmer. Rip Taylor Jr. was born on January 13, 1931 in Washington, D.C., and was a legendary comedian known for his colorful wigs and iconic confetti-tossing act. At the age of 36, he appeared in The Monkees in 1967, playing Glick, a bizarre, ridiculous, but sarcastic villain that only Rip Taylor could portray. Glick, with his humorous yet witty style, brought explosive energy to the series, making him an unforgettable character. On October 6, 2019, he passed away at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles at the age of 88 due to heart failure following a seizure. His ashes were scattered in the Hawaiian Sea, a generous farewell worthy of the indomitable spirit of an artist. Rip Taylor's estimated net worth is around $3 million. Amassed from thousands of performances, a guest appearance in the 1992 animated film, The Addams Family, and countless late-night comedy appearances. But behind that glamorous exterior, Rip Taylor endured a troubled childhood, losing his father at the age of 2, living with a mentally ill mother, and being abused as a child. Those emotional wounds seemed to follow him throughout his life, forcing him to maintain a cheerful public image. Taylor was married to dancer Rusty Rowe, but the marriage quickly ended and he later had a long-term relationship with Robert Fortney amid a lot of homophobic stereotypes. He didn't succumb to drug addiction, but admitted to being exhausted by the constant pressure of performing comedy to mask his loneliness. In his later years, Rip defied his age by appearing in Will and Grace, The Emperor's New School, and even Jackass 3D, proving that his career was still going strong until his last breath. With a brave heart and wild soul, Rip Taylor spread laughter and tears, then left this world like a brilliant firework in the sky, leaving an unforgettable impression on all who loved him. Henry Beckman is District Attorney. Henry Beckman was born on November 26, 1921 in Halifax, Canada, and was 45 years old when he joined the Monkees in 1966. In the series, he played a cold and stern district attorney who directly confronted the band in a tense and dramatic episode, bringing a rare realism and tension to the story. Beckman's calm demeanor, piercing gaze, and commanding voice made him a memorable character. Despite his brief appearance, he died on June 17, 2008 in Barcelona, Spain at the age of 86, with his second wife Hillary by his side. The cause of death was determined to be heart failure after a long battle with old age. Beckman's entire career from Peyton Place to The X-Files has helped him amass an estimated net worth of $1.5 million, a modest but worthy sum for a dedicated actor. Behind the spotlight, Beckman's life has also had its dark sides. He endured the brutal war years, serving in the Canadian Army during the D-Day landings on Juno Beach in 1944, a memory that haunted him for the rest of his life. His marriage to his first wife, Cheryl Maxwell, along with the founding of the Duke's Oak Theatre, was at times a source of happiness and inspiration, but at times stifling as he tried to balance family and career. After his separation from Cheryl, Beckman found peace with Hillary and proudly watched his son Brian become a talented scientist. The loss of his close co-stars over the years caused Beckman to fall into depression more than once, and then, after more than half a century of dedication, Henry Beckman passed away quietly, closing a heroic chapter, leaving behind a legacy of a resilient, enduring actor. Len Lesser as George. Born December 3, 1922 in New York, Leonard King Lesser had the comedic, easygoing spirit of an actor born to play supporting roles as brilliant as leads. In 1967, at the age of 44, he appeared in The Monkees as George, a bumbling gangster who becomes a source of laughter through his silly encounters with the band. Len Lesser made the character a memorable color in 2 films, with the intimate acting and flexible improvisation that became his trademark on the American screen. He died on February 16, 2011 at the age of 88, of pneumonia due to cancer complications in Burbank, California. His ashes were buried privately according to his family's wishes. Lesser's estimated net worth in 2011 was around $3 million. Largely due to decades of continuous work in film, television appearances, and patient acceptance of being typecast in comedic supporting roles, something he himself often mentioned in the press. Len Lesser's life may have seemed peaceful from the outside, but it was actually filled with loss. He and his longtime wife, Marilyn Lesser, were together for more than 50 years until she died in early 2011, just weeks before he did. A blow so great that Len fell into a deep depression, losing all will to live. In his final years, Len quietly battled cancer, still making it to stage appearances and fan meetings, even as his breathing became increasingly weak. Lesser is remembered not only as the charming Leo on Seinfeld, but also as a soldier who risked his life on the Asian battlefield during World War II, then quietly rebuilt his Hollywood dream with his own smile. When Len Lesser's life ended, audiences felt as if they had lost a part of their childhood, a familiar face associated with endless laughter on television.